Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Top 10 Worst of Lists, the best of the worst. An endeavor to try and get people weaned off the corporate teat of emotional and informational bullink and try to get them to, I don't know, maybe think for themselves or be their own fact checker for the immersive world of shiznaz that they've been hornswoggled by. My name is Drew Blood, and what a powerful, liberating top 10 worst of I've got planned for you today. It's going to be super special. It's the top things I would do if I was She-Hulk. She-Hulk is one of my all-time favorite mythological comic heroes that I fantasize about on the reg. Gosh, think of all the things that we could do if we were all She-Hulks. But I digress. Before I get into this compendium of totally earth-shattering and profound observational integrity boosters, which is how I like to think of top 10 worst of list as being, people, we all are a bit delusional at this point in today's world. Why don't you just let me have this one little space without getting too hateful in your comments and emotionally shattering, withering insults. Before we get to the meat and potatoes of today's endeavor, just a couple of things to clear the air. Number one, I can't be trusted. I'm sorry. But if you go walking around looking like this right here, and expect that people are going to think that you're on the level or that you should be viewed as a reliable exponent of factoids and observational, astute points and intellectually discernible objective truth, then, you need a meds adjustment. Let's be honest. People see me, walking down the street are like, how's that thing surviving? I don't really, doesn't that guy have any pride in himself or whatever? First of all, number one, no. Number two, what? I didn't hear you. Number three, I got plenty of stuff to live for. When you first decide that your life is going to be defined by anti-establishment views, and you've found yourself, your passions in your life are being inhibited by a sort of amoral backlash against those who would be fully expressive and lash out against the status quo and be defined as an enemy of the state, and see that your choice of avocation is being blocked by an establishment of nonstop gatekeeping and social Darwinism. And then you try everything else that you could possibly think of as a means of trying to break through and get your thoughts heard so that you can just be true to yourself with your life, and you find out that every avenue is being blocked and every opportunity is being given to witless, eye candy, sellouts, rich people, and brain dead celebutants. What would you look like after 30 years of that? Huh? See? Not so easy to be as biased against me based on my looks now, are you? Trying to feel a little bit maybe guilty about looking at me and going like, why would I watch 2 seconds of this jerk? But, for being honest, you probably shouldn't be watching this stuff. It's just going to lead you down the pathway to get you to look like this another 30, 40 years or whatever the hell. Hey, but anyway, so much for that. At number 2, I'm not here selling somebody else's agenda or trying to get you to believe in the things that I believe in. I couldn't care less what you believe in. I'm done. I'm cashed. I've cashed my chips. Every time I've tried to make a comeback, I'll have a relapse for some physical malady and stuff. It makes levels of pain that I can't possibly even describe, even with my mellifluous sounding voice and incredible attention to detail and expressiveness. If I can't express the level of pain that I'm in, you know that it's really bad. Okay? Hey. That's the way life gets for people who are out there trying to, really do things about shaking their fist at the dying of the light, because there are no people who are actually doing anything. You see the people who are opposed, they see all of the fascist elements of our state and whatnot, and what do? Since the year and a half or two or whatever, since the people who put Trump in power ascended to the top of the political food chain, they've marched 3 times as of, I had to look, June of 2026. 3 times. We marched 3 times. We made super cutesy signs. And that's the sum total of the reaction to seeing a world that's clearly become a total fascist state. And people think, well, how those people living in Nazi Germany let all those them Nazi guys in charge? I think it was something crazy. Well, take a look around you, dude. Take notes. So, people, if this ever relents or the billionaire class takes pity on us and decides, well, let's go back to the cloistered and closeted version of our crypto-fascist state for a while and let people, go back to dreaming that everything's okay. Things haven't been okay in a long, long time, and just because we're seeing it now doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. We just refuse to see. We refuse to accept it, embrace what's really going on. It was pretty damn obvious. All this stuff has been just as bad for, since the end of World War II almost. So, but nobody's paying me to say that. I don't think that any of the, the divide and conquer stuff is on the level. There's all these, people who control and strangling the hell out of our, depriving our brains of oxygen, metaphorically, are doing anything to reflect reality. They're doing what they do to create a fake reality and force feeding us into their intellectual wood chipper. So I'm not going to buy into it anymore. And I'm not talking about excusing hate mongers or fascists or any of the evildoers. But I'm not the one who turned their back when Biden was elected in 2020 as he had, you know, definitely had rapidly decreasing intellectual acuity throughout that time, and refused to have realistic primaries where we could take a look at him falling asleep on a podium during a debate. And I'm not the one who hired Kamala to be vice president, even though that she was the least popular person during the 2020 primaries and got 0 delegates before they dropped out completely and became less and less popular as the 4 years of the Biden presidency continued, and yet wound up getting a de facto nomination assigned to her. I'm not the one that did that, you know, and I'm not the one who gave the name to the movement to get, you know, Trump out of office or whatever the hell they're trying to do, of no kings, even though it was the Democratic Party that had a candidate that was assigned that we never got to vote on. I didn't do any of that stuff. You know, and a lot of that, I'm not the one who got Fannie Willis in Georgia to decide that it would be a better thing to do to have sex with one of her underlings and blow up the case of the voter fraud that Trump seems to have committed in Georgia following the 2020 election. I didn't get Fannie Willis to blow that up, you know? So why is it that, you know, everybody on the left is complaining about MAGA being the source of, I mean, if Fannie Willis would have done her job and not, you know, canoodled, dipped her wick in the company ink, Trump probably would have gone to jail. I mean, there was a slam dunk case. They've got phone records of him calling up, asking for people to find votes. How is that not a slam dunk? But they found a way to screw that up. You know, I wasn't Obama in 20 whatever he got elected, 2008, when he got elected, who didn't investigate all the neocons and all the lies that they told on the run up to the Iraq War, which is a war that we never should have fought, that wound up killing a million innocent Iraqi civilians. Well, how do you not investigate that? How do you not throw all those people into prison or send them to the International Criminal Court or something? Abu Ghraib, blah, blah, blah. Nobody. So it's not, as people think, it's not just like people who are out there doing bad things and to support their partisan hacks. It's all scripted by the same people. They're all looking to just degrade. There's nobody who's going to change our society to make it better and fair and more equitable for everyone. Who's got the power to do that? And that's why I'm fantasizing about the idea of She-Hulk. She-Hulk, you know, the wind's blowing in the right direction, could probably do some of that. And hence today's list. But before we get to it, and again, I'm not trying to excuse all the hate groups out there who are, you know, disguising themselves as political action committees, and the billionaire class. Obviously, those people are evildoers. I'm not trying to let them off the hook, but the people that, you know, are supposed to be, they didn't. I mean, in a objective, fair race, Donald Trump shouldn't be able to beat a fresh chocolate chip cookie in a presidential race. Fresh chocolate chip cookie should win every goddamn time. 10 out of 10. 100 out of 100. They didn't conquer the human race by making the bad guys better. They conquered the human race by making the good guys worse. And I'm not trying to say that all Republicans are bad guys and all Democrats are good guys or anything like that. We're all just being victimized at the same rate. But what I'm trying to say is that the Republican politicians are all out to, consolidate the wealth and power in the billionaire class. And the Democrats were supposed to be about helping the working class survive and fight against those usurpations. But they don't exist. They're all sellouts. They've all thrown the working class and everybody, middle class, all that under the bus. God damn it. All right. So before we get to today's top 10 worst of list, top 10 worst things I would do if I was She-Hulk, we got a few commercial sponsors. From the producers of the Huffington Post now comes Huffing Tons Post. People who do tons of huffing, sniffing glue and huff rags and stuff. And they're doing the aggregate news site. So much fun. Huffing Tons Post. So You Think You Can Drunk Dial from the producers of So You Think You Can Dance. Now comes a great new reality show of a bunch of stoned, drunk-ass frickin' morons who drunk dial their exes for the camera and provide hours of fun and excitement for even the low-browest of the lowbrow. It was an incredible time in all your lives is waiting for you when you watch So You Think You Can Drunk Dial. Wednesdays at 9. And the producers of How I Met Your Mother are back with another irresistible time-wasting sitcom. To end all irresistible time-wasting sitcoms, it's How I Met Your Mothra. Things are happening. And Tuesdays at 7. And from producers of the Chorus Line comes a Boris line. A line of people named Boris. It's the Boris line. This is stuff. Here, I'm giving you this is the quality A material this week. And then from the new Bond movie, from the writers and producers of Octopussy comes Platypussy, the Bond movie with the duck-billed female villain with poison barbs on their hind legs. Poison barbs! Is it like Pamela Anderson's barbed wire? She's got poison barbs. It's funny how just recently I saw a, Operation Petticoat Junction. What's that Operation thing? Operation Blackbird style. Fake news article that Pamela Anderson is being praised as once again digging down deep and being heroic by going out with her 90s style makeup again. So she was praised as heroic. Oh, so heroic that Pamela Anderson. Yeah. How she was praised as heroic for going makeup free. Oh my God. We see your pain, Pamela. The lip fillers are working. So people be like, oh, she's so heroic. Look at her. Without her makeup, you can see all the plastic surgery scars. And people were like, okay, is she or is she not pounding Liam Neeson on the in between takes on the set of the miserable Naked Gun remake? Humorless. Were they trying to make it more like a tragedy, like a Notebook or something like that? The Notebook was, I can't remember the Notebook. I've seen it. Was it tragic? Love story? Tragedy? Certainly Naked Gun is like in the worst steps, that category of some of the worst filmmaking ever done. But they gave it they got an A for effort on that one for coming up with all that stuff, like Pamela Anderson's makeup free. Oh my gosh, this is a break. And now she's being praised as being brave for putting makeup on. Jesus Christ. So horrible. All right, so that's enough of that. Let's go to the list, shall we? 10 worst things I would do if I was She-Hulk. Number 10, rob banks to raise funds for global domination schemes. Oh, yes. I've been scheming in between the pain episodes. I'm always scheming. Ooh, look at me. I'm doing things. Oh, I'm doing things with my damage hand. You gotta raise schemes. Number one step is always raise the money to do the schemes. That's the way that the robber barons do it. They'll do all kinds of amoral activities to raise money, and then they'll use that money to subjugate the masses. Hello. Subjugating. Number 9, take over planet Earth. Oh, yes. Yes, it is time. I mean, think about what a glorious time it would be in the history of all mankind to have top 10 worst of fat, crazy, fringe element guy in charge of the entire planet. Yes, and be She-Hulk. That's a double whammy. Number 8 of the top 10 worst things I would do if I was She-Hulk, take over the International Space Station, because control of the planet, entire planet, is meaningless in today's day and age. You got to have control of space too. That's why one of the first things that Trump did when he pulled back the curtain on all the crypto-fascist NSC garbage was create Space Force. Space Force. We are the Space Force coming to take your funds. We'll destroy things and deploy things. That's all I got so far of the Space Force national anthem. Space Force anthem. We are the, come on everybody, Space Force. Marching as to war. Number 7 of the top 10 worst things I would do if I was She-Hulk, consolidate my power by the following: the imprisoning billionaires, the Illuminati, the Trilateral, eliminating one of the laterals and the Trilateral Commission and turning it into the Bilateral Commission, because I've always had bilateral tendencies. Bilateral Commission doesn't sound as evil though, right? Like if you got two of them, the Pope, the Pope, the Rothschilds, and what's the other one of the Trilateral Commission? The Pope, the Trilateral System, the Windsor family, is it? I can't remember. But if you took out one of them, it's going to throw off the balance. It's that Trilateral Commission. It's pyramid power. That's how they get you. eliminating all hate groups. Got to get rid of the hate groups. I mean, what's the point of judging people by what they are? Is that really, float your boat? All the people in charge of mainstream cultural apparatuses, including all alt-right media outlets pretending to be independent of the mainstream media, got to kick them to the curb. Time for a comeuppance, as it were, and a dose of reality for you. Yeah. Oh yes. I'm gonna man in the boat you. Tweak your bean. All the heads of the Catholic Church, they got to go right into the wood chipper. Straight into the wood chipper. Do not pass go. Defense contractors, time's up, buddy. Capital punishment for all the defense contractors. Enough's enough. Who cares who the hell is on the top of the food chain anymore? Unadulterated power. I mean, bring it on. Bring on the unadulterated power. All these guys are going to do it anyway, no matter what types of guardrails you set up. God damn it. Guardrails. Set up a bunch of guardrails in the United States, or so we thought. And look at us now. What the guardrails did. They did nothing. It just gave people an excuse to fall asleep. It's like my contention of replacing airbags with poisonous darts. Like, instead of having airbags deploy when you get into an accident, that empowers people's reckless driving. You think, I got 20 freaking airbags, stuff like that. I'll drive at 150 miles an hour so I can sneak over to my side pieces place, take them to Pound Town, and then still make it home in time for dinner. So the spouse won't have any idea whatsoever that there's Pound Town is going on between work and dinner with the fam. But if you took away the airbags and replaced them with poisonous barbs, like from Pamela Anderson's movie Barbed Wire, if the barbs were poisonous, and they shot out from all the areas where you currently have airbags now, and just pierced the skin with neurotoxins that turned you into a sentient vegetable where you could see everything and hear everything that's going on around you, but you're paralyzed. And they keep you alive. All the major car manufacturers are responsible for keeping you alive for as long as possible with the feeding tube and just sitting there in a vegetative state. There would be the immediate end to all accidents. We're going about these things the wrong way. You don't have to spend a bunch of money on regulatory commissions or OSHA or environmental protections. You just put, the death penalty for first offenses for white-collar crime, all white-collar crime, immediate death by torture. So you got all the people who are putting toxins in tobacco products to make them impossible to quit. You put all those people, all of them, into one of those fancy fire pits at a drum circle, and you burn them to a crisp, or give them the old neurotoxin injections, so that they have to spend their sentient vegetative state, perpetual vegetative state. And you make the tobacco companies pay for it with a tobacco settlement that really ends the use of tobacco instead of that piece of garbage that Bill Clinton signed in the late 90s that actually increased the amount of American deaths by tobacco-related products from 430,000 a year to 480,000 a year. Oops. If you start doing that, you won't need OSHA anymore. You see, oh, you've been violating worker safety protocols. You're dead. Death. Immediate death. Take them off to death. And you see, I mean, right away, they'll take care of all the problems for you. You don't need all those regulatory. You don't need the FDA and everything like that when you've got the death penalty for white collar crime, like with an itchy trigger finger. And you say like, oh, okay, well, look, you skimped on food safety testing for years and years at your factories. So, we're going to have to sentence you to death by infesting your groin with lethal parasites, and they will eat you from the outside in with entry through your groin area, like Candiro fish or whatever, those fish that crawl up your wee-wee and enter the urethra through artificial means. And have them eat you from the inside out. I'm telling you, all that stuff would end in an hour. You'd never have to worry about it again. All those people in the hexavalent chromium people, you catch the first guy, you wipe out the entire board of directors for PG&E. Just, sorry, oh, thank you. And then you give Aaron Brockovich a $1 billion fund to uncover all other corporate malfeasance. You don't even need to do that for long. This is a sort of temporary sort of measure while people start to realize that you're actually serious about torturing them to death for white collar crimes. Yeah, I do it. Insider trading, death. Unfair trade practices, death. What's that self-immolation stuff? Where you're blowing up your own company to sell off the parts and destroy competition. Built-in obsolescence. Death. What they did to Sears and Kmart and stuff like that. That guy, who's that? Lampert, Eddie Lampert. Immediate death by torture. And, it's going to end within, seriously, like a few weeks. You'll never have problems with that again. That's the type of thing that I'm talking about here. Other things that I do while consolidating my power: get rid of the Catholic Church, get rid of all defense contractors, get rid of all the political despots, except for me. But I'll be a despot on the side of good and truth and the pursuit of happiness. Tobacco company executives, yeah. Oh, yeah, no. No, thank you. National Security Council, sorry, guys. Got to kick you to the curb. Politicians, sorry. You're going to be eaten by ravenous dingoes. Corporate CEOs, dingoes. Sellouts, dingoes. Lapdogs, dingoes. Sports league commissioners and team owners, dingoes. Weisenheimers, dingoes. Hate mongers, dingoes, and posers get the dingoes. They all get the dingo treatment. Ravenous packs of dingo stock will be skyrocketing. Hi, I'm Dirk Nowitzki for Dingoes R Us. Do you have a political despot that you're looking to dingo up? Why not come to Dingoes R Us and choose a wild pack of dingoes best suited to your needs? Do you want aggressive dingoes that rip and tear at their vital organs and intravenous circulatory system? Or would you prefer a pack of rabid dingoes where the death is slower of rabies that drives people insane? After weeks and weeks of suffering, they finally give themselves over to the Rainbow Bridge. Dingoes R Us. Dingo them all up. God damn it, as far as I'm concerned. God damn dingo, stupid peoples. Number 6, make Labor Day like once a month. Labor Day, every month you get a Labor Day. Maybe even a floating Labor Day for people. Like, almost like a paid time off day that you can just take off to just take off and do your thing. Like, make it happen. And that's labor, really needs a break. I mean, if, the rich people, if you want money, if that's what makes you happy, great. Well, what's the trade-off for us? What do we get out of the deal? There's all this one-sided stuff where only benefits like the people who don't need any further benefits. It's just old hat. Stale. It's time for something new. Or perhaps it's time for dingoes. Dingo ugly bastards. Dingoes will get more than just their babies. Dingoes trained to just go straight for the ball sack. Like, just zero right into the balls. A whole pack of dingoes fighting over your balls. That would be punishment for some of these white collar sellout jerk off so-and-sos. Number 5 of the top 10. What is it doing here? Top 10 worst things I would do if I were She-Hulk. Make every city an Epcot. Okay? Not the pure garbage shopping mall that Disney Corporation built after Walt Disney was killed off for coming up with the idea of Epcots, but the actual experimental prototype city of tomorrow that Walt Disney outlined in the 60s that they killed him over. Where you got transportation and underground levels so that you never see the trucks and you never see the cars and anything like that. And on the top levels where the people are living, you get like pastoral walkways and maybe people movers and bike lanes galore and all that kind of good stuff without having to step on anybody's toes, without making life miserable for small businesses, unsurvivable, in fact. And the dingo hordes are, sort of strategically positioned and ready to pounce. If you wind up, if you see any signs of white-collar crime, how about dingoes like the AI dingoes? I know they got the AI robotic attack dogs, and they're working as fast as they can to be able to deploy them as soon as possible to, destroy the human race. But what if they just ramped it up and turned them into like AI robotic attack dingoes that are focused on creating all kinds of misery? Wouldn't that be more fun though than just your average robotic attack dog? That's pedestrian at this point. Let's get something fun with some verve. But no, anyway, if you got the Epcots, right? Every city's an Epcot. Every city is an Epcot. Yeah. And you've got, life would be a lot easier. And again, trade-off. You don't have to, if every city's an Epcot, people's quality of life is going to go up so skyrocketingly high that they wouldn't be so pissed off at the billionaires. They wouldn't want to just like unleash the dingoes on the billionaire class as much or as soon. So you could everybody gets to survive together. And that's really what we want out of life. Everybody can be, can't we all just get along? Dingo production, I'm telling you, it should be the number one priority. And I'm not talking about, like Epcot. Don't get Epcot confused with EGOT, which is the one person earning Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony Award in one lifetime. A term which regrettably was invented, I guess, coined I think is the operative term, by one Philip Michael Thomas, who is one of the jerkiest jerks of jerkdom. He was the forgotten guy in Miami Vice. So here's a guy who got famous for doing a poser show as one of the ultimate posers of all time, who coined the term. I remember when he came up with it. I'm old enough to remember. He started going on the circuit, the Good Morning America type circuit shows and stuff like that. And he was, and Johnny Carson and stuff was talking about EGOT. How he's going to be, I'm going to be the first guy in EGOT. And literally came up with the term EGOT, which is like, not just the term EGOT now. It's like all these terms that people are trying to create a shorthand for life, because really what life needed more of was shortcuts and less depth and less character. So let's just shorten everything up until there's life, none of the integrity of life or institutions is left at all. Why not? And we have a lot of to thank from Philip Michael Thomas. That guy was just gross. And I'm not talking about, physically. It's just sort of had this energy that was so incredibly smarmy and surface minded and, and he's going on these talk shows talking about EGOT like he's like worth a damn. And I'm just a perfect embodiment of what he was. Is he never even got a nomination. He's doing music. I think that was what he was doing, the promo tour, where he coined the EGOT term. And, no nominations at all. He did get, however, the dog food version of an award, the People's Choice Award, because, really, is there anything more worthless than what the people want? The people's choice, the most worthless choice of all. And that's the only one that he got. She got, we got. It's conjugating the verb EGOT to EGOT. We got, she got, he got. So don't ever confuse troublemaker kids. Epcot with EGOT again. Epcot, they killed Walt Disney over Epcot. So have a little respect for once. Number 4, the top 10 worst things I would do if I was She-Hulk. Number 4, did I say 10? Number 4, rebuild society around an organizational structure that excludes rich people from participating in the leadership, design, and power apparatus of the state. Isn't it enough that you got all the frickin' money in the world? Now you want all the power? You want to be able to control everybody else? That hardly seems fair. Okay, take your frickin' money and go have your little McMansion and stuff like that. Just get away from us because you're diseased. The rich people are diseased. They're pathological. And when is it going to get through your head that you have to create something that precludes the rich people from taking part in any of the rest of our lives or influencing us at all? I think the fear is that, if that's done, that people will realize that these rich people don't really deserve that much of a lion's share of the wealth and productive capacity of the world. But it's a slippery slope. If you're going to give over the power to them for all the money and an economy and stuff like that, and not do anything to protect us against that by creating a political system that runs independent of that, that's why life is so horrible. So, and we're talking about not democracy or theocracy or communism or socialism. This is, a new ism that we've yet to master or debate. So we've yet to master the debate of the ism. There's a joke in there I need to workshop. But anyway, why should we, allow that to go on? There's an undiscovered political theory that allows for these maniacs to get their rocks off and have their Lamborghinis and stuff. These are not important things. These are not things that we should, that any healthy person would seek to have for themselves. Having some good health care, in-unit washer dryer, and parking. And I think you're set. Some decent food, right? Just to keep things rolling. So that's what most people, really all they need to have a happy life, if they're well educated and adjusted and empowered to be able to make the best of things as middle class types. I mean, what's wrong with that? Seems like a great life to me. I think the greatest of them are in unit washer dryer. Who the hell needs a freaking Lamborghini? Especially in city driving. Where are you going to park that damn thing? Number 3, turn cultural production and distribution apparatus over to human beings. Is it really that difficult to get a sense of how really destructive it is to have all the cultural distribution mechanisms be owned by people who are just total misanthropic psychopaths? Is it that difficult to figure out? Sorry, no, thank you. Enough of that. Number 2 of the top 10 worst things I would do if I was She-Hulk: turn on the Tron effect. And by Tron effect, I mean from the original Tron movie. At the end, when he gets the little frisbee, is wedged into the Master Control Program. The Master Control Program, all the offshoots of the program, these electronic circuits that go to all these things that look like houses and stuff like that in the Tron world, go from being just sort of like a dark orange reddish type of thing to blue. And all these conduits start to open up, and it symbolizes the turning of the world from being controlled and manipulated by evil people into us thinking, sort of metaphorically thinking that they're now controlled by blue, which is the nice guy color in the movie. And I think that symbolism is powerful because it's right on the money. I think that, Disney at that point was so bad off, so on the brink of imploding, that they actually, sort of kind of gave away house secrets, said the quiet part out loud, by admitting the fact that the way that the evil keeps us all under their thumb is through these little orange conduit circuits that that infiltrate everybody's houses with information, energy, whatever it is that it was meant to symbolize. And I think it's clearly stating that all this stuff could be much better if it was the distribution network of this energy was controlled by good people. And, I think it's one of the most impactful things I've ever seen in a movie, a mainstream movie before, or since. The Tron effect, goddammit. And number 1 of the top 10 worst things I would do if I were She-Hulk: kick ass and take names. Oh, yes. A dingo in every garage and a chicken in every pot. That's my party platform. And what party it would be. What a party we've had here on Top 10 Worst Ofs. This is a great time for all of us. Empowering. Somehow a bit sensual. Don't deny it. That the whole idea of having a real life She-Hulk, even in the playing field for the great unwashed, kind of sounds tempting, doesn't it? Well, that's all the time we've got for Top 10 Worst Stuff. What a pleasure it's been to be here and provide you